What's going on, everybody? This is Stubbs here from Retro Handhelds. Today we're going to take another look at the RG35XX as well as the RG353VS from Anbernic, and we're going to do a couple system mods to these, change out buttons, maybe a couple fun skins and stickers, talk about how to make these D-pads a little bit better, and just make these more enjoyable handhelds. It's modding time! Alright, to get us started on our modding journey today, we will need a couple of different things. We have the Cloud Life 3D printed buttons, as well as some super glue in case those clips get broken on the 35XX. We also have the better buttons here, which are great for those trigger buttons, and we have some electrical tape. We also have our screwdriver set here, which I'll link in the description. This is great, as well as some sandpaper for shaving off any excess 3D printed material, and our TPU covers for the 35XX there from Seahorse Laser Design, as well as the 353VS here from Anbernic with some better buttons we're going to throw on there. This will also work on the V model, of course. But with that, let's do a PlayStation mod. So we have some Sakura retro modding stickers here, as well as some PlayStation buttons on Etsy. And not just that, but we also have some fun joystick caps here we're going to try on. So many of these are Skull & Co caps and various assorted caps I got from Amazon. All right, so here are my two 35XX units from Anbernic. So you're going to grab yourself a T6 and pull out all the screws here. This one has a few missing, as this is the one that was used in Aish's previous video on our channel. So you can see Aish already installed the better buttons there, and we're just going to pull out the battery. And this battery, I'm not going to upgrade today. We'll do that in another video. I'm waiting on the battery. It is on the way, but is not here yet for that bigger battery mod, which increases it from the 2100 milliamp hour up to 2800 milliamp hour. Okay, now you're going to need a 00 or a one size Phillips head. So remove the speaker wire here. All right, now we're going to take the screen. We're going to take that ribbon cable out. Here we have some different color options. We have transparent yellow, transparent green, and transparent blue. I really think that the transparent yellow and transparent blue are going to look great. That transparent yellow looks like a neon green, so that's a lot of fun mixed with the purple shell. So I think I'd like to try that today and see how that turns out for the one, and then we'll use the blue for the other. Okay, and what you're going to want to do here is pop those into place, put the rubber membranes back on, take these off, do a little swappy doodle, swap out our D-pad, get our start and select going, and the function button nice and tight there. Looks good. Moving on to the next part of the mod here, what we want to do with this handheld is we're not going to do the better buttons on this one. What I want to do here is improve the D-pad, because the D-pad is not great by default on either the 35XX or the 353V and VS, and you get some funky diagonals, so it's not quite accurate. So what you want to do is go ahead and grab yourself some electrical tape and cover up some of these contacts here where the buttons meet the board. Doing this based off of a user from our Discord named Karmic. Thank you, Karmic, for showing us this method. This worked great for me. It was near perfect. So just cut little squares, put them in all four corners there, making sure you're covering mainly just the left and the right contacts, and leaving the top and the bottom one pretty open there. So that should get you just about what you need. Kind of move the tape around until you make sure you have enough contact point for the button to press down. You don't want any of the tape to overlay each other, because you do not want any increased height. That will feel weird, and it doesn't feel good. I had to open back up mine a few times to get this right. We'll want to try it out kind of first and see how it feels. So to put it back together, grab the screen ribbon, place it through, pop it in, and close the clamp. You're going to want to put the PCB back into the handheld by placing the 3.5mm headphone jack into its slot first at the bottom, and then kind of pushing down from the bottom to the top. All right, then you push down. Make sure when you're working with this speaker wire that you do not get it caught in the shell when you put it back together. All right, that's looking really good. Now try the buttons out. Ooh, these, yeah, that feels so much better. They're not only fun colors, but it's also a matte feeling on your fingers compared to the glossy feel on the stock buttons, which are just not my favorite. Get the battery connected back in. That's pretty quick and easy there. Just kind of put it into place and use your fingers or a tool to gently push all the way in. Kind of gently squeeze and push this back together, making sure you're not breaking those clips. These clips will snap and break. Make sure when you're putting screws back in, you only go as far as you need. Do not force it. Do not put any extra tension on. You want to twist the screw until you get the faintest bit of resistance, like the faintest bit, and then kind of back off a quarter turn. That's generally the key to not breaking these clips and these posts. So on this one, No broken clips or posts, although when Aish opened it and did his video, he did break a few of the posts. So I learned from him to take it nice and easy, nice and gentle. All right, next we're gonna actually do the Better Buttons mod. Make sure you put your SD cards back in before you turn it on. It will not turn on without that OS. All right, once we have the unit booted up, try out some games. Let's see how it feels. So playing some Metroid Zero Mission here for Game Boy Advance, and this is feeling pretty good so far. Pivot's really nice. I think we might have gotten this one right on the first go for that D-pad mod. Buttons feel really good. Better Buttons, of course, feel great. Man, I love the matte feeling on these. Just the tactile feel. Yeah, these are beautiful. Cloud Life buttons, I highly recommend, as well as Sakura Retromodding buttons and RetroGame.evo. Trying out some Disruptor for PlayStation 1. For the software here, you're going to want to use GarlicOS. Highly recommend using this over stock. This is a operating system by Black Seraph. Check out one of our many other 35XX videos on how to get GarlicOS up and running. But this is the latest version as of this video, 4.08, and it is just gorgeous. So much fun to play on, and easily swapping between games. It's just, I mean, it's a game changer. It brings the device from 0 to infinity and beyond. Loaded on PlayStation 1. This is a good one to test the D-pad on, since it starts you out in this circle area and you can just see if you can correctly circle around without wonking out in all directions. And one of my favorite PlayStation games made by Neversoft, this one is Apocalypse, starring Bruce Willis. This is running on the Tony Hawk engine. Always one I like to highlight. A fantastic platformer and run and gun game. Makes use of the 35XX's rumble feature, so that's been implemented now. So the rumble feels really good. And these buttons are great. No complaints. I think we can move on. All right, let's open up our second handheld here. So this one looks good, and we're trying out that TPU cover from Seahorse Laser Design. And that feels really good, by the way. This thing does not pop off, does not come out. Oh, snaps right on. Yeah, I'm happy with that TPU cover. Protects the screen, no scuffs, no scratches either. Holds firm, but also slips off when needed. Good to go. Let's open up the other unit here. So this one is stock, 100% stock. Nothing's been changed on it, so we're going in blind, and we're gonna do it all over again. Let's speed up the footage a bit so you don't need to watch all this. Let's get these better buttons going. All right, we're gonna switch over to our 00 or size 1 Phillips head screwdriver head here and remove these two brackets carefully using our tweezers. Okay, this part you need to be ultra careful, so just very gently wiggle it out of place there from the clips. Those clips will break crazy easily, so make sure you have super glue on hand, but just pop it out, push it from the back, and it safely comes out. Look, no broken clip there. Push with your fingers from the back while you're pulling up with the tweezers. Pop it out, boom. All right, we didn't break any clips there. I'm honestly impressed. Okay, so now we have the triggers from Better Buttons, which is at Get Better Buttons on Etsy. So here you're going to place it from the back inwards and then kind of just gently pop it into place and gently push down so you kind of feel it click there. Don't want to break clips here. It's super frustrating if you do, so I've heard. Okay, in from the back, push in. Okay, all four are done. Put the brackets back on. All right, kind of quickly just putting it back together. So these Better Buttons, we won't know how they feel until we actually put them on the case. All right, so here's the completed handheld with the new blue Cloud Life buttons in. Everything went great on here. Had a little more trouble with the D-pad on this one, getting that D-pad tape mod on. So I'm a little worried the buttons aren't going to be 100% accurate compared to our near perfect yellow model. So far, these feel pretty good. Face buttons feel really good. Everything feels good. That D-pad doesn't feel quite right on the right button there. So up, down, and the left feel good, but the right doesn't quite feel right. So let's take a look at the actual D-pad button itself and see if we need to shave off anything with the sandpaper. You know, it looks a little bit thick on that side where we're having issues. So let's start things out by just kind of shaving off just a little bit of excess printing material. Just kind of rub it lightly. It's nice and smooth and even along with the other buttons. That's looking better there. So we did remove just a little bit of extra thickness. Okay, let's take a look at the tape situation. So that's looking good. So the tape on this unit, as you can see, I did not apply as cleanly and as nicely as I did on the other one. And when you move along too fast when you're doing this, that's where you make mistakes. So you can see there, it's just not as nice looking. And that's probably why we're seeing some funky movement. Especially I was noticing that the right button was a little bit too high up. Didn't have enough travel to it like the up, down, and left buttons did. And so it looks like on the right side there, the tape was overlapping a little bit, creating a little bit of excess height, which was contributing to the issue. That combined with the fact that the button had a little bit extra printing material on it. We just want to make sure that everything's the same on all 4 directions there. All right, now let's try out some more gameplay. So here is Spyro on PS1, and this is feeling so much better. So much better. All right, thanks for hanging in there with me. So now we're going to take a look at the Anbernic RG353 VS. Again, this is the same as the V, but it has a little bit less RAM, and it doesn't have Android on it. So this one just boots to Linux, and we're using Unofficial OS, which is a derivative of Jealous. And we're going to try out these Sakura retro modding PlayStation-themed stickers. So we're going to have a front plate, a plate that go over the buttons, and then a back sticker. The same method applies here. Many of the components inside are going to operate and feel the same when you're opening it up. One thing with this particular Sakura mod is that it does not fit over the installed screen protector. So we're going to ditch this idea. And you know what? We don't need a screen protector because this model doesn't have a touchscreen anyways. All right, now we're going to try out some different fun joystick cap covers, see what might look good there. Purple looks really nice. Kind of matches the purple hue in the square button there on the face buttons. Also might look good with green, red, or blue. Really kind of up to you. I'm leaning purple or maybe a green, maybe more of an olive green. Yeah, this is looking good so far. All right, let's put the back sticker on. All right, and opening up the 353V and VS here. So removing the back plates, looks the same as the 35XX. I assume these clips are nearly as brittle. There we go. All right, these better buttons are going on without any issue. Ooh, yeah. And we have replacement plates for this one. All right, so moving on to the next mod. So on this one, we're gonna swap out face buttons, directional fix with the electrical tape, and now we do have joysticks to contend with here. So this plate on the bottom, you're gonna need to get out of the way that use the size 00 Phillips head. And I recommend, instead of attempting to remove the teeny tiny ribbon cables that holds these joysticks in place, although if you're good with this, it's fine. But for me, I didn't want to risk it, and so what I did instead was I left them intact and I kind of popped them out from the bottom. Just remove the entire PCB board here with the joysticks attached and carefully set to the side. Also make sure that you carefully remove the screen ribbon cable. We just want to take our time here and just kind of enjoy the zen of modding these. This is one of my favorite things to do, is when I finally get in the mood to do these, I try to do them as a batch because it's pleasurable to go through and just make these little changes that make them better. So I love the stock face buttons on the 353V and VS, especially on this DMG model here. They're nice and matte, and I actually prefer the feel of them over the Sakura buttons in this case. The Sakura buttons are super solid, but they're also glossy, which isn't my personal favorite, and so I might just stick with the stock in the end, but I want to see what these PlayStation ones look like since we have a matching theme and sticker and all that. Place in your volume up, volume down, your power button, your reset, make sure that's in place, pop it on. People have talked about the buttons rattling. I'm not really bothered by it. I guess it's because it's kind of nostalgic in a way, but if you're bothered by button rattle, one thing you could do is put a little bit more of that electrical tape beneath those side buttons there, the function, power button, reset, and all that stuff. And that should stop any sort of rattle when you shake it. All right, so Unofficial OS, which is a nice, easy to use operating system. I also recommend using ArcOS. ArcOS is another awesome experience in here. Or if you have the V, which has Android, you can use Black Seraph's Lineage OS on it. So these are all great options. Anything but the stock OS really is a good option. D-pad feels great. I already can feel that those funky diagonals are improved. I like these green joystick caps. Those feel good. Face buttons are too shallow. There's not much play and not enough travel to them. I think I picked up the wrong buttons and I got them mixed up Here, look how shallow that is. Yeah, that can't be right. That is not correct. And if you are okay with that feel, then I'd say, you know what? This is good to go. For me, I like a little bit taller buttons. I want to have more travel to feel more button. So what I'm going to do is undo this. We're going to switch back to the stock face buttons. And it's going to be this sort of hybrid Game Boy DMG PlayStation mashup, which, you know what? Totally fine. So what I'm going to do soon is order off the Etsy store Game Boy DMG skin and swap that out. These are all feeling really good. The better buttons especially, feel so good. D-pad feels great. Very happy with both of these handhelds. You really can't go wrong. These do compare to the Miyoo Mini and the RGB 20S from Powkitty. So the Miyoo Mini is going to be a little bit smaller than 35XX, but same idea. Many of the same mods are available for it. It's just too small for my hands, so I prefer the 35XX at the end of the day. And with the new Miyoo Mini Plus coming out, which is closer to the 35XX size, and also has a transparent purple SKU, I think the modders are going to go nuts over this, and we're going to see a lot more flourishment in the modding community. Just lots of good stuff coming. So many of these same techniques are going to apply to that handheld. I've done a bunch of Miyoo Mini mods. Probably the Minis was a little bit easier to mod, because you don't have to contend with those clips in the back. You don't have to worry about them being as brittle. But the 35XX being bigger is a little bit easier to move around in. Let's wrap up. So yeah, what do you guys think? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you, and we will see you on the next one. Take care of those handhelds, everybody, and take care of each other.